And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land, which you actually can catch up on the show now. And also my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. Got my new setup. Got a new using the new computer laptop for the first time.
Yep.
A nice birthday gift, collective birthday gift from everybody. So thank you for everybody that contributed to that. And yeah, doing good. I think this is like maybe the earliest we've ever recorded in a morning thing. I know we've done some.
I think we've done earlier than this, but not much. It might be close. You might be right. But
so how are you, Mike?
I'm good. It was a good week at work. I had a full work week, Rich.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I haven't worked a Friday.
Like 3 months?
I haven't worked a Friday since April. Like, that's legitimately a thing. And I had to put a full work week in. But I am working from home on Monday. Ragbry's in town, so yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. Anyway, but no, we're doing good. Gonna have Ragbry in town Monday, Tuesday. Gonna try to not be too angry about it, but we're looking forward to it. Rich, we got lots of NASCAR news to talk about today, as there's some developments in lawsuits and some changes in schedules and, you know, just the regular NASCAR corner stuff on top of it. Plus, well, there's not a lot else. So, Rich.
Well, we got baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. Baseball. I had to give
we'll be talking some baseball.
And there's lots in baseball, and we have a good conversation to have in there. I like the Rich tries to put some time filler in there, and one of them is the baseball question of the week, if we will.
So yeah, I think we might have to find another historic Cubs team for the next week if we still don't have any trade deadline chatter to talk about.
Well,
and we'll have one more week of that, I think.
And I got it kind of spawned some other questions. We also have a NASCAR question of the week, if you will, that we're gonna get to. And with that, Rich, let's go ahead and intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And with that, Rich, we got to talk about our poll question of the day. Rich, this week's poll question was farmers market versus boating. Farmers market versus boating. This was not close, which is kind of sad because I like both of them, but I picked the one that is one of my favorite things to do. In fact, we did it this week, and we might. It's a little hard up here because even though you'd think it'd be easier. Rich, farmers market versus boating. Where do you go?
I went with farmers markets.
Okay.
Mostly because it just seems like with boating that whenever we go boating with my wife's side of the family, it always ends up that somebody's wanting the fish, and that's a little bit of an anxiety factor for me.
Yeah,
so
I get that. I actually am a bigger fan. Like, I love boating, but the fact that the farmers market, A, has entertainment, B, you get food, like the whole purpose.
Fresh food and food that you take home and cook.
Yep. And just in general, it's
most of the time it's a good way to support a local business and a farmer's business. So
so I picked farmers market as well. Farmers market won 5-2. The people that picked Farmers Market was me, Pam Hendricks, Matt Johnson, Danielle Hart, and Rich Hendricks. Those that picked boating, Ron Lehmans and AJ Hendricks. Now, I get the so for me, boating is like, yes, you can do fishing, but boating is boating. Like, to me, there's a distinct, and again, I think that there's slightly a difference what you're talking about, because a lot of times, yes, when you go boating, it's just that. It's to go boating. If you go boating to go boating, that's one thing. But if there is fishing, yeah, that can take. I can understand why that takes some fun out of it. But
Yeah, because then you're moving slower. You're just as well. This spot isn't working, or I think I've got a bite here, and then you're staying in one spot for long periods of time before moving.
yeah,
Before moving on instead of constantly moving on. But also, we have some younger family members on that side of the family that get bored really easily. So that could, when they're done with the boating period, they can get a little restless and vocal about, hey, are we done yet, or can we go in yet? So that kind of takes some of the fun out of it too.
yeah. For me, like, I grew up on a boat, and yes, we loved to fish, but the big part was just going boating. That includes tubing. That includes tubing, skiing, wakeboarding, all of those things. Like, it's just a fun time. So for me, I love boating, but farmers market is just so much better for me. So
Yeah. So farmers market will be moving on. This week, Mike, we're gonna go with dirt track racing or the drive-in movie, our 4-6 matchup.
that one's a little harder for me. I know
Yeah.
what I prefer to do, but what do I do more?
Yeah. So dirt track racing, drive-in movie. I'll try and get that up once we go off air tonight. Once
Okay.
we go off air today. So, Mike, do you see what's coming up next?
Rich, is it a left turn?
It is a left-hand turn, and what's after that?
Is it another left-hand turn?
It is, Mike, and tell them why.
Because we're heading into the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Rich, this last week, the boys were in the drivers were in Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Your winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. Surprising no one. Your pick of AJ Allmendinger finished 18th. My pick of Chase Elliott finished 3rd. Bring it to a 12-10. On behalf of you, you're up 12-10 on the picks for the year.
Yeah, so it was a good race. I think I only got to see maybe like the tail end of it because we had some plans. No, actually I did not get to see the race at all.
Yeah, we didn't either.
We were over at a friend's house to celebrate with Bastille Day with them. Because she is our one friend is originally from France, so she normally has a big celebration at her house for Bastille Day. So we were over there, but was kind of tracking it on my phone a little bit to keep an eye on my fantasy lineup, but also just in general to see how our two drivers were doing. But yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen winning the road course, no surprise. So that's his ticket into the playoffs. That's why he's at Trackhouse Racing as a full-time driver.
Yeah.
So
and he now
cars into the playoffs. So
he now has the most wins of any playoff driver.
No, he's tied though.
He's tied, but yes.
But yeah, he's in there with I mean, for a guy that before the Mexico City race was like in the 30s in points, is now third in points in the for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for him, his ticket to staying into the playoffs and maybe getting into that top four is to bank and get as many stage points and wins with one more road course up in Watkins Glen coming up to get as many of those things arts. Where if he's still a playoff driver when the Charlotte Roval gets put into the equation, he could sneak in and be a part of the championship four.
Yeah. Easily. So I'm intrigued by that, but man, I don't know. Is this too many road courses? That's been the talk of the week.
Yeah, a lot of drivers are saying no, it's just too many road courses.
Yeah,
too many.
There is something to be said for that. They like. Is NASCAR, if NASCAR wants to be more international, road courses help.
To appeal to more of an international fan base or going outside of it?
Yes. The answer is both.
Okay.
Both are very accurate. They don't. So, because the international fan base tends to be more road course familiar, I would say. And if you're going places, there are more road courses outside of the U.S. than there are oval tracks.
Yeah. So currently there's 6 on the schedule. There's 6 on the schedule if you count the street race, and them using a configuration for Charlotte Speedway in a road course configuration instead of an oval configuration. So I mean, what's the answer on this then? Do you? Because I mean, one of those could be going away because there is no confirmation that they're going to go back down to Mexico.
Yeah, and we know Chicago's not coming back next year.
Chicago is being put on pause.
Yeah.
So that takes us maybe down to 4, assuming that they don't plug in road courses to replace those two races on the schedule.
Yeah. And again, road courses though, like that's. I understand when people say, "Well, it's not road courses aren't NASCAR." Yeah, you're right. It's not what NASCAR was built on, but does the current fan base enjoy it? I don't know. I know for me, one of the reasons why I love oval tracks is that you get, at least in the ones I've been to, you can see the whole track from your seat.
Yeah, I can get that as being in Kansas and thinking that with having some family in the Austin area, where would you sit if you went to COTA down there in Austin to see the entire race? How much of the race you're going to be at the start finish line basically? So or maybe somewhere else on the track where you're going to see some action, and then you're hoping that there's a TV screen somewhere where you can see the rest of the track.
Yeah. So one of the problems that F1 has, that people talk about with F1, is in F1 you sit in one spot and there's nothing going on. All of a sudden you have and then you go back to drinking. Like, yeah, you go back to drinking beer, you go back to whatever you're doing, but you're still not doing sports stuff. I mean, whatever you want to like.
Yeah.
The gap between in a 3-minute race, you get to see 2 seconds of it, and bye. The other problem people have, and this was a problem the last few weeks with Shane Van Gisbergen. The man was just way out in front of everybody, so there's not a lot of racing at the front of the. Now, yeah, there's plenty of mid pack and all that stuff, but the front of the race, there's not much going on.
Yeah, I get that point too. I mean, when you go into a road course, you could probably make the case that the 5 drivers are the 5 drivers that are good road course racers. Those are the ones to watch, and those are probably going to be the guys that the favorites to win the race are probably your guys that are going to win the race.
Yep.
Your Van Gisbergens, the Dinger, Elliott, Reddick, Bell.
Yeah. So
Larson, if he can get ahead of the pack and has a good pit strategy, but it does bring in good pit road strategy is important on those road races. That where it isn't as big of a factor in other circuits.
Yeah, but here's the problem. People say that pit strategy is a thing, but pit road ability isn't a thing. And let me explain that. Pit road strategy is I'm going to bring my driver in at this specific time. But pit road ability, as I might call it, is how quickly can we get our pit stops done. In the reason why in NASCAR you need such a fast pit crew is so you don't go down a lap when you're at Daytona. When you're at in most of the oval courses, when you pit, you're going to drop a lap or you're going to be real close. You talk about in like Rich, if you're in 13th place at a road course and there's 3 laps left in the stage you don't worry about losing a lap when you come into pits to quote unquote flip the stage, as they call it. If you're in any of the other places, flipping the stage is a little harder to do, because if you mess up on pit road, like, it is hard in Sonoma to lose a lap because you pitted. It is not hard in any of the oval tracks. So your speed on pit road doesn't really matter when you're at the road course. Now, don't get me wrong, it does matter, but does it really matter? Whereas at an oval, at a road course, it doesn't matter. At an oval track, it does. And so, I don't know. It's hard to like, pit road strategy is king, whereas pit road speed is king when it comes to other tracks. Also, NASCAR cars are purpose-built to go in an oval. Like, I get it. They're trying to do things like get it out to Le Mans, try to get all the cool, fun. Is that really necessary? So, okay.
So I don't know. I guess for me, with the whole road courses, if you want to say, well, I mean, I think a lot of these people that are saying that, well, we have too many road courses.
Yep.
There's the argument. Well, you need to get better at road courses.
Yep. Get wrecked.
Or get better reps on the simulator with your on the road courses. But I mean, if you're going to stick with this current thing of having six on there.
And that's
Have the same number of road courses that you're going to have on the Cup Series in the development series, like your trucks. And
they
your
actually have
Tonka,
more. They have
and your or more, or you do more road courses. So as those drivers are developing, they can get those reps and get used to getting better at road courses. So when they finally get their chance, there are more drivers in the field that have a legitimate chance to win those types of races.
And you see that though. You see that in modern NASCAR. Now, Rich, you're new enough to NASCAR
I am.
to not have seen, and I don't want this is. I hate when I preface things like that, but I've been watching NASCAR since the '90s, like the early '90s. For me, I remember. Yeah, Dale Earnhardt could sling a car around Watkins Glen, and make it work. But if you had guys that like road course ringers were legitimately
Yeah.
a
I
thing.
think I do remember hearing that as an argument when you only had one or two NASCAR road courses on the schedule. They would just bench their driver and bring in a guy that is really good that's known for that's more used to more road course racing, but in a different circuit.
Yep.
You see guys like maybe I think Jonathan Button, I think, is one guy I think I remember would pinch hit, and you see a manufacturer or a team add an extra entry and bring him on to add him to the field.
Well, and it does, and there were things that were involved in it, including, and what this will lead right into the next story. They didn't have the charter system. You weren't guaranteed a spots. So if you wanted to, you could, Rich, if you could find somebody that would sell you a NASCAR for $60,000 at the time, we'll say $150,000, $200,000, whatever it is, and you could afford and you could earn your NASCAR license, you could take, like, you and I could go out and you could run qualifying, and you could earn $20,000 just for qualifying. Now, if you qualified well as a road course ringer, you could earn 30 just for being there. And if you could keep your car and get a top 10, you'd make $40,000, $50,000, $80,000. Now,
or if we're a Cup team,
yeah,
where the manufacturer or the owner's points matters to us. If we got a driver that our fourth driver in a car, like if it's, I don't know, the only thing I think of right now, like Hendricks Motorsports. If you know Alex Bowman is not, he's more on your third. He's probably the low man on the pole. I'm just spitballing here, and we know that he's not a good road course ringer. You could bench him, bring in a road course ringer guy for a 1 or 2 lap thing, and get some owner points out of the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So
with up to 6 races, you can't afford just to bench your driver for 6 out of the 6 races out of the year.
I don't know. Speaking of charter stuff, let's get into that real quick, and then we'll get into picks for the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was announced this week that the judge overruled an injunction that was made by 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports to allow them to still be considered chartered members for this year, while they still sort out the lawsuit that they filed against not wanting to sign the charter agreement like every other team accepted. So now, at least for the next 2 races, which will be Dover and Indianapolis, those 2 teams will have to qualify on speed to get into the field if there are more than 40 cars on the grid signed up to be on the grid. So if there's 30, 40 or less, regardless of how they do in practice and qualifying, they'll be on the grid for the race. But in the odd event that you have some one-off teams you have some one-off entries that are going to field extra cars, they're going to have to practice, and qualifying is going to matter for Reddick and Bubba Wallace, and I can't think of the guys that are at front row, but oh man, front row I know is Todd Gilliland and somebody I can't remember Gilliland's other, the 38 is Zane Smith, I think it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are going to, qualifying and practices are going to matter for those teams. So do you think for me, I don't think it's going to affect Reddick and Wallace as much, but the guys at front row, that you might not see a front row guy in the field because the charter isn't there to save them and guarantee them a spot.
Yeah.
A spot on the course.
And that's the scary thing. Hey, this is my normal wake up time. This is why we don't do the show this early, because I don't normally wake up till now. Yeah, so the concept, if you will, of having, like, that's the scary part for them. They don't get any of the share revenue. They don't get any of that. So, man, I don't know. I think they...
I mean, let's say this plays out through the entire year.
Oh,
For
yeah.
some strange reason, let's say that due to a wreck on the practice qualifying, Reddick doesn't make a cut, and he wins a race. Let's say like he wins one of these, wins a race to where he has an automatic playoff thing, but
Yeah.
he wrecks somewhere in practice and isn't able to run in one of the races. Would he be given a playoff exception, or would he potentially not qualify? Could they use that against him and say, sorry, you didn't run all the races, so you can't be in the playoffs?
Wow. I didn't even see, that is something I didn't even think about. I didn't even think about it that way.
Those teams they're suing NASCAR, trying to get a better charter agreement, or because they didn't agree with the charter agreement. So NASCAR has no reason to turn around and to help them out and say, well, no, you got to win. So charter or no charter, or one of those races you couldn't compete in because you didn't qualify, but we'll give you a playoff exception, or we're not going to give you a playoff exception because you're fighting with us. Your ownership is fighting with us.
I legitimately didn't even think about that, and I'm not even kidding.
I didn't either until we got on the air here. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because Tyler Reddick won the points championship last year.
Wow.
The regular season. If there's no charters, could those two guys be able to opt out of their agreement with 23XI and sign with a new team next year that does have charters?
Man, I didn't even... I mean, I would hope NASCAR would give an exemption, but they don't have to. And especially for a team who legitimately is fighting them, why would you? Yeah, I 100% could see NASCAR being that way. Wow. That changes everything, Rich. You are a genius for coming up with that.
That wasn't even covered in the article that I read about this. Right now, it's just that those four or five drivers have to qualify if there's more than 40 cars in the field on the entry list. So if car number 41, which a one-off guy that's racing in the Indy 500 because it's Indy 500, there tends to be a larger field in the Indy 500. Entry list for the Indy 500 crashes in practice, you're done.
Yeah, wow.
The only other thing I can think of is that with 23XI, wouldn't you agree that more than likely on most racetracks, Tyler Reddick has a better chance of winning than Bubba Wallace? Say that Bubba Wallace's car qualifies, but Reddick's had an engine issue or wrecked in practice for whatever reason. Could 23XI make a choice to say, sorry, Bubba, we're benching you because Reddick gives us a better chance to win, so you're the one that's getting the bench, and he's going to drive the 23 car instead.
Yeah. I mean, there's 100%, man.
Or if you know you have a playoff exception because Reddick wins a race, Bubba's car doesn't make it in, could you turn around and put Bubba in the 45 seat, and if he wins the race, then the 23 gets in. His car gets in. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find out how they sort it out. I don't know. I kind of like the having to qualify, earn your spot in the race. Because, I mean, I don't like larger fields. I don't like the larger fields, seeing the guys like a BJ McLeod, a Cody Ware, JJ Yaley, guys that are constantly struggling to finish in the upper, finish in the low 20s, let alone trying to avoid being in the 30 or lower, having these automatic spots when they know there's no chance of them winning the race. So I'd want to see more teams have to qualify their drivers and less charters. But I know that's been, if you put everybody into that, but you say, well, technically you wouldn't qualify, so you're going to have to pay your way into the race, then what's the point of qualifying anything anyway? If you had a bigger money guy like a Joe Gibbs or Hendrick Motorsports being, well, yeah, my guy crashed, so technically I wouldn't pay, but I'll pay the entry fee so he can be on the grid at the tail end of the grid. Then you're favoring the big-pocketed, bigger teams because they can just buy their way. They could buy their way back into the field if they didn't qualify.
Yeah. Wow. You've actually completely changed my mind on some of this, on some of it, and I don't.
What was your original stance before we move on? I guess.
I just honestly, my original stance wasn't anything real other than it was. I didn't think it was as big of a deal. Honestly, it just was more about the fact that I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Who cares if you get it or you don't? What's it going to change anything? It doesn't really do any harm. It doesn't do any good. Who cares? But, as you point out,
the playoff implications
are huge. Which, playoff implications, not only are they huge, but then they get in, financially, that's huge. Which the whole argument for this thing, the lawsuit, is saying that financially NASCAR is making things less and less viable, and making the financial, making it financially less beneficial to be a NASCAR team. That's the essential argument from the lawsuit side, the team side, and 100% what this could do could 100%, and I'm not it's it could 100% bankrupt a team that doesn't decide to sign the charter.
Yeah.
Which means it's antitrust. Like, that's the whole purpose. It's an antitrust lawsuit. And they're saying that this antitrust is this actually makes more of a point that it is an antitrust than anything. Like, this just says they don't care, they care less and less. Wow. I actually think if they brought your argument into it, very easily they could make that would help the team side of it more than anything. So
yeah, and there's still a chance that NASCAR could turn around and, with these charters now available, could put these charters out to the highest bidder and sell the charters out from under these two teams.
Yeah. Which then there'd be a lawsuit about whether or not they can legally do that, and blah blah blah, and I also wonder, and this to me, so again, part of the other side of it is NASCAR is the reverse of all the other major sports in this, and that's part of where this whole thing is and does. In NASCAR owns everything, or NASCAR, the teams pay NASCAR to be a part of it, and NASCAR has to, and you comply with NASCAR. In all the other sports, the team owners own the teams and pay essentially, and I don't want to say that they pay the leagues to do their bidding for them, but they essentially, the teams own the league as opposed to the league owning everything.
Yeah, I mean, you have the owners, the commissioner works for the owners, whereas in NASCAR, the owners
seem to work for, like, legitimately seem to work for the
league.
For the league.
Yeah. Also, NASCAR owns a lot of, like, probably what, 90% of the tracks that they run at.
That's
so it isn't like
also part of the problem.
They own the tracks that they go to. They own probably own all the technology with the next gen car, because you got to buy the parts from them. You got to buy the materials and the parts from them. And as we're seeing right now, they own the charters. They could turn around and say, all right, you don't want to sign our agreement, then we're going to take these charters away from you, and you're now an open team, and, oh, by the way, this team wants an extra charter, so we're going to sell it to them.
Yeah.
And so they can have an additional guaranteed entry when they choose to use it, if not field a fourth or a fifth or a sixth car permanently year round throughout the year. So it'll be something to watch. I don't know. I think this could be used as a negotiating ploy to get them to sign an amended agreement to get them through the rest of the year to get their charter status back, or to turn around and sign the agreement that they could have signed all the way back in February or January, and they're back on track, and maybe this is just a two race deal, and they finally signed the agreement. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, the harder part though is that the teams,
they've dug in so much. Why would you want to break and finally sign the agreement?
Well, that too. I'm not saying that. I'm actually going to say the opposite, or not the opposite. I'm going to say something completely different. NASCAR itself is set up, and the teams are set up now that they're not going to get. The teams are setting it up that they have to change the entire charter agreement. the entire charter agreement, and it affects everybody. Because if Jordan gets a special agreement to do a thing, I don't care what it is, but let's say they get a special thing saying that they pay 10% less. Then Joe Gibbs can sue and say, "Hey, you paid 10%, you paid 10% less than me, and you get the same value. That's not fair to blah blah blah. We're gonna sue NASCAR." So NASCAR can't back down. Essentially, NASCAR has to say, "Well, this is the charter," and I would guess, and this is purely a guess, I would guess that either the charter agreement goes away altogether, or the charter agreement is I don't think it's going to change. I think that it is what it is, and
so you sign it or you don't sign it. Sign it, but you know what? And then we will, once this agreement period is over, then we can open up negotiations, and hopefully these teams work to do a better job of working together instead of separating off and trying to negotiate with NASCAR separately. Because every other team signed the agreement for what it was, and it was Front Row and Jordan's team saying that no, that this isn't fair, or this, we want better terms. We never got a chance to negotiate with you. It was just sign this or don't sign it.
Yeah. Okay, with that, Rich, we got this week to talk about.
Picks. We still need to get picks for this week.
Auto Trader, Echo Park, Automotive 400 at Dover. I'm going to pick Eric Jones. I'm going to go out on a leaf. Not a lot of people to pick from this week for me, so I'm going to pick Eric Jones.
All right. I got a 2-race advantage, so I'm also probably going to go with the guy I normally wouldn't pick. So I'm going to go Noah Gragson. A lot of times Black Rifle Coffee Company is on his car. I'm not sure if this is one of those weeks, but I'll go with Noah Gragson.
Yeah. I don't mind that pick either. So, okay, let's move on as we have lots of base. Oh, and we didn't even get to the side topic, so we'll move that side topic. We had a side topic that we were going to talk about. We got sidetracked by a different side topic.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to talk about where NASCAR should go with Chicagoland out. What track should they go to with an open spot on the schedule? So what new markets could NASCAR field a race in, or where's an underserved area of the country where they could stage a race? Kind of like a dead zone.
Yeah.
A dead zone, of course.
Yep.
All right, but Mike, that was the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, and you can also find them on Fifth Avenue Moline, and you can also find them on eBay. All right, Mike, let's keep making left-hand turns. Let's talk about baseball. So, Mike, from show to show, there was only 3 games.
Yeah.
With the Cubs only had 3 games due to the All-Star break. You said they'd win all 3 of them, and by golly, Mike, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Great games. I mean, I was like kind of scratching my head with that Yankees series, seeing that Friday night game where Cody Bellinger darn near had 4 home runs in the game. If it hadn't been for, I think it was Tucker or PCA robbing him of one of his, what could have been his 4th homer of the night. But Mike, they took both of those. They came back and took 2 or 3 with the Yankees and the Bronx, and they won yesterday against the Red Sox, giving them a perfect week. So, Mike, before we talk about the All-Star game, this week, Mike, they have 2 more with the Red Sox before the Royals come into town, and then they go to the south side of Chicago. How many wins, Mike?
I'm going to go with 4. The Red Sox are a good team. Ish. The White Sox are, to me, the wild card here.
Okay.
That's where I don't know if they get that extra win on that one. Again, that seems like a crazy statement, but it's truly like It is our biggest rival. It is the Cubs' biggest rival outside of the division. So, yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with 5. I love the pitching matchups that we got the next 2 days with Boston, to where I think we could sweep that series with Imanaga and Boyd getting on the bump, or Horton getting on the bump.
Yeah.
With the Royals, I'm not. The back end of the rotation has been pitching a lot better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go with 5. So I'm going to go with, we're going to sweep the Red Sox. We'll take 2 of 3 with Kansas City coming into town, and we'll take that game against the Sox. All right, Mike.
Yeah.
All-Star game happened. The home run derby champ, Cal Raleigh. His dad, I thought it was really cool that he had his dad pitching to him, but the kicker was that his 15-year-old younger brother functioned as the catcher for him. That was really cool to watch. I mean, to hear him say that, yeah, he was giving me encouragement, like, woof, got one, don't take it. Telling him whether to take a pitch or not take a pitch, encouraging him along the way.
Yeah.
That was really neat. So he became the first catcher and switch hitter to ever win the Derby, and the second Mariner to win the Derby, joining Ken Griffey Jr.
I love that for him. He 100% did a great job. Love seeing the I love seeing bringing your family in, all of that stuff. Great job.
Yeah, I mean, it came with some controversy a little bit, as there was a tie in the first round.
Yeah.
And it was revealed late that the tiebreaker would be decided off of just the pure distance of home runs, off of the longest home runs between him and Brett Rooker. And it was a very minimal decimal point distance wise.
Wow.
And so
I didn't watch it, but I
didn't remember what it was. I had it on in the background while I was cooking dinner, and then we watched the rest of it.
Now the more important part is, what did you cook for dinner?
I was cooking scrambled eggs.
Ooh.
Some scrambled
breakfast
eggs.
for dinner. Breakfast for dinner.
Yeah, breakfast for dinner. So I had that on in the background, but we watched like so I was cooking dinner through like half of the first round.
Yeah.
And then we watched the rest of it together.
Yeah.
All right, All-Star game, Mike. It was a
Yep.
6-6 tie, but the National League won 4-3 with an extra inning home run showdown.
I like the concept of the extra inning showdown. I don't think it needs to be the question came up on social media. Should this be a regular part of NASCAR? No. Or of baseball? No.
Okay.
But I like it for the All-Star game. I don't have a problem for that.
Okay. Now I know both of us are probably of the tune of, well, no, it's obviously no, we don't want it deciding the home run deciding a regular season game, similar to you see a shootout decide a game after overtime in hockey. But which would you prefer if you had to choose 2 of them, the ghost runner on second base or a home run derby? Which one would you choose?
The home run. No, I will take the ghost runner. Here's why.
Okay.
A team, a pitcher can prevent that ghost runner from getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, straight up can. Strike out 3 guys. Sucks to be that ghost runner. Just get comfortable. Yeah. Ain't nothing. No. Nope.
No.
The home run derby or the showdown. Mm-hmm. And I didn't watch that. I didn't watch the game at all. In the showdown, here's my question: who pitches?
I believe it was a batting practice pitcher.
Nope.
It was not a pitcher from the opposing team that pitched.
See, that's the problem. See, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do this quote unquote showdown,
a shutdown reliever could be brought in to pitch that
home
run derby.
Do that. Make it so that if this is going to be a thing, don't make it a batting practice type showdown. Make it a thing. I like what the Savannah Bananas do. Isn't that them? The
Yeah, yeah. They have 3 different types of innings that you go through.
right.
So yeah. I think for me, if I had to choose one or the other, I think I kind of like to see the home run derby thing after you play an inning. So let's say that, you know what, you play. Let's take the ghost runner out of the equation, and you're going to play 2 full innings of normal baseball. So if it's still tied after at the top of the 12th inning, you go to this home run derby, similar to with hockey, similar to hockey where you play an overtime period. If it's still tied, you go to a shootout. I'm not gonna lie, when I'm at a hockey game and it's halfway through that overtime and nobody's scored yet, I'm rooting for the darn thing to stay tied so I can see a shootout.
Yeah.
So why not? So why not have this showdown? But I do like your modification to say that it's not a batting practice pitcher that pitches those to those 3 or 2 batters. It can be a reliever from the opposite team.
Yeah. It's got to be
throwing
somebody
hard.
Because again, especially with your batting practice pitchers, your batting practice coach is really what it is. Those guys, a lot of those guys are just they know exactly where to pitch it. It's why the home run derby works as a home run derby, because you get a guy. And again, this one seems a little odd to me, but a lot of home run derbies, you have 2 guys who are going up against each other, who the pitcher knows exactly where to put the ball and can 99% of the time get it right to where you want it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could see, I mean, with the home run derby final was that you got 3 pitches. The batter got 3 pitches. Anything that was not a home run, nope, didn't go on to the scoreboard. So if you had a pitcher, if you had a legitimate pitcher going up there and firing them in there, do you limit it to say, all right, it can only be a fastball that has to be, in a theory, be down the middle or within the strike zone?
No,
So
what you do is it then becomes.
So if you don't,
and
so
I would also
balls.
change. I would also change it to be not 3 balls. You get 3 outs.
Okay, it'd be 3 outs. So that batter gets. So you know what? I like that too. You know what? It's 3 outs. So it's 1 batter going up there, not 3 batters getting 3 batters per team. It's 1 batter. You select. The manager gets to select their hitter. The opposite manager gets to select their pitcher, and it's 3 outs. So whether you're getting 10 home runs in that extra inning period, or you only get 1 because you fouled off or hit 3 non-home runs, that's what it is.
And by the way, I would also say that foul offs, you get. So again, and if we're rewriting the rules. By the way, we're gonna have to eliminate the extra question. But if we're changing the rules to what we want, not to what anybody else like. How about this? Here's my thing. You get 3 outs. Standard 3 strikes. If you hit it into nobody has to catch it. That's not the thing. But if you don't hit a home run, that doesn't count. But that counts as an out, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But a foul, on strike 3, you get 3 fouls.
Okay.
So you get 2 strikes and 3 fouls after 2 strikes. You can foul off, but again, that means at most you get 5 fouls.
Mm-hmm. And I think that would be reasonable, especially if it's the opposing pitcher getting to choose the pitcher instead of a batting practice pitcher.
And I would also say, how about this? If the pitcher walks a guy, because I still think you have that.
He gains an extra out if he.
No, he doesn't get an extra out. What he gets, this is where I think we get a little crazy. I'm getting a little crazy on this.
Is he getting an extra run?
He doesn't get a full extra run. He He gets an extra run for his next home run. Nobody has to go out there. You just say, okay, Rich, you pitched to me. I won the bet. I won it. I got to walk. That doesn't count as an out. It just puts a theoretical guy on first base.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you do that, let's say you walk me 4 times or 3 times. But actually, and here's where I'm gonna completely ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Those runs don't come home until you hit a home run. So if you walk me 8 times, I don't get a run for any of those unless I crack one out of the park still. And then that one home run counts as 9.
So could you have a guy deliberately taking pitches? So would you still have an umpire back there saying,
yes.
Nope, boop,
no,
that was a strike. You chose to take that pitch. That's a strike.
100%.
Okay.
100%. So it's a pitcher, a batter, and a catcher, and an umpire. That's the only guys out there. And the umpire's making the calls.
And you put the other 2 umpires in, then you put them down the line and one out in straight center field to verify that, yep, that was a home run.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's if we're gonna do this showdown, let's completely blow it up. Let's make it. No time. No. You get pitcher. You get 3 outs. Batter. You got 3 outs. You make it count.
All right. So that is our roundabout. I did not think that this discussion would go that far and that wide, but
yeah.
But it's still a cool discussion to have. For
next
wrapping
week,
up baseball, in the NL for our Chicago Cubs, Kyle Tucker went 0 for 2 in the All-Star game. But he did have, I guess he had some good defensive plays from what I heard.
Yeah.
PCA went 1 for 4 with a double, and Matthew Boyd was inactive since he pitched very close to the All-Star game.
Yep. Next week we're going to give you a standing check, which we normally would do today, but we got in the weeds on the home run derby concept
And the NASCAR. NASCAR.
And we do have another question that was similar to last week's question, but slightly different, which I'm really bummed. I actually wanted to do this one because
once again, it was another like Facebook post that came up on it, and it was, we'll tease it, Mike. What member of the 2016 World Series Cubs would you add to this current roster? And you get the 2016 version of that player. So not what they did with out of their entire career or their prime. It's what they did.
I'm going to give you my answer.
2016.
You asked the question, so I'm going to give you the answer because mine's short and sweet.
Okay.
Joe Madden.
The manager. I was going for more player, but okay. So you can explain that answer.
Joe Madden.
We'll table it for next week, Mike. All right, Mike.
Any shout outs for this week, Rich?
No, I don't have any, Mike.
Neither do I. Do I?
I think you do. Okay, it's my birthday, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, it is today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that today?
It is today.
It is today. Yeah. Happy birthday, Rich. I'm sorry. I totally forgot that that's today. I thought it was. Yeah.
It's okay, Mike. A lot of times, I don't remember people's birthday. It's Facebook tells me when it's people's birthdays. So.
Yeah. Sorry about that, man. Happy birthday.
No, you're good.
And doing anything special?
We're going out to dinner with my parents tonight, and I think for lunch, I'm gonna go grab some Hi-Ho Mongolian Grill. Not something I normally get very often, so I'm gonna go grab that.
I'm jealous. But okay, Rich, people are watching the show on YouTube. They want to take us in the car with them and just listen to the podcast. How should they do that, Rich?
Look up Balls and Sticks, the podcast, wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, just to name a few. Mike, if they're listening to us out in podcast land, but they want to be able to interact with the show when we record live, or if they want to see more of a video portion of the show, where can they find it?
Rich, you can find that at facebook.com/ballsandsticks. Or not, sorry, youtube.com/@ballsandsticks. Yeah.
And finally, Mike, where can they find our weekly poll questions?
Facebook.com/ballsandsticks or facebook.com/fansofballsandsticks or Rich's page or my page. All that. And Rich, what's it time to do?
Well, wherever you're listening to us at, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and vote on our poll question. But Mike, let's go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast with your hosts, Mike and Rich.